We talked about this some yesterday, so I just want to clarify. I think part of the issue that I understood in our conversation was that, for one thing, some caseworkers are not trained to do medical assessments of students, and for another, we're also having apparently some communication issues in terms of who is responsible for getting the child to the medical provider to do the assessment. Is that not correct?
Yes.
What you're trying to address here is to make sure that there is an initial medical assessment of the children, and then it's triaged in terms of what occurs after that. Is that correct or not?
That is correct. Children that have chronic conditions need to be seen earlier. It may be that when they come into care that they don't even have their medication. If they're an asthmatic, they may not have a nebulizer or an inhaler. And this is to prioritize those children so that they are prepared to care for them properly.
So I want to make sure that I am understanding correctly that the prioritization of the children being seen is being determined by a medical assessment of some kind, by a provider that has some training to be able to make this assessment?
Currently, there is not anyone that does that. What we have done is set up conditions within the framework of the bill in which they are to receive a medical assessment sooner in the process.
So it may not be that every child would get that initial medical assessment in 3 days, but what you're suggesting is that you've provided some guidelines that would need to be adhered to so that they know which children need to be prioritized in terms of an immediate medical assessment.
Correct. You know, if the agency is having difficulty complying with the 30-day and only comply 58% of the time now, I'm very concerned that making it 3 days, we're going to potentially overlook children that need to be seen sooner because of their conditions. And so this is kind of a triage way of doing so.
Okay, so I think I'm beginning to understand it. Initially I thought you were talking about all children would receive some kind of an initial cursory assessment by a medical provider, but what you are saying is there would be an initial assessment by the caseworker who has guidelines that they can follow to know specifically which children need to be seen in that 3-day time period because they have particular medical conditions that require a more immediate medical assessment. Correct. And then if I could also ask about the vaccinations here. Again, only since this is an immediate kind of thing, before we know where the child is going, if the child needs to be placed or not, no emergency, no vaccinations except for those that might be required for an emergency reason, such as tetanus. And then that this clause does not apply after a hearing conducted, let's see here, does not apply after the department has been named managing conservator. This does not apply then. Then the department has the discretion to do what needs to be done for the welfare of that child. Is that not correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it.
Thank you.